What's up, everyone? This is Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, and I share the Bible that's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. Let's talk about getting rid of the thought of making sure that things are perfect before you begin. I'm a licensed esthetician, if you don't know. I am also a master lash artist. I'm a massage therapist. I'm licensed. I don't practice anymore. But I also am a skincare line creator, and I started my skincare line in 2017. And to find out more about my skincare line, you can go to the links in the description box below. And I'm makeup free, guys. I use my products, okay? So I'm just saying, all right? But perfection paralyzes. I have had those moments where I have been paralyzed by the thought of thinking it's not good enough, so I allow the paralysis of perfection to stop me because I didn't think that it was good enough. But where it really mattered and where it was really important, I didn't allow those things to stop me. I started anyway. When I started my brick and mortar business many years ago, it definitely was not perfect, okay? I started my business at the time. I was renting a room. And to be honest with you, it was a pretty ghetto hair salon. And when I say that, it wasn't in the ghetto. So it wasn't in an area that was not like a good area. It was actually a really busy, good area in terms of business. But the atmosphere of the salon itself was pretty ghetto. And that wasn't even the type of scene that I was up on. I just did not, I didn't fit in. But the space was available. I made that attempt to make it work and try it. And I was there for some time. And I was operating my business there. And I kind of tried to keep it, separate and all of those different things. And I worked my butt off and marketed and promoted myself. And then when it wasn't working for me anymore, I made the decision to get out of there. And that's a long story in and of itself, so I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole right now. But I will say that things definitely were far from perfect, but I didn't wait for it to be perfect in order for the beginning to happen. So that was my beginning. And then I made transitions over time from going to this place to rent a space and then going into another place to rent a space. And even though when I had the thought of starting the business years ago, and I wasn't in my own space and I was renting, co-opting space, whether it was a room or a booth or whatever they would call it within someone else's business, I still call my business a complete business name and as if I was in my own space. So I had the phrase lounge at the end of it. I called that thing that was not as though it already was. When I established my business name with the Secretary of State, when I registered it, when I created my website and all of those different things, I may not have been in my own space, but I still called it a beauty lounge, even though the full space was not mine. Okay. So I grew, I transitioned, I did all of those things over time, and it was never perfect. It really wasn't. But what I put into it, what my vision was for it, those who decided to patronize my business and support me by getting their services done with me and investing in themselves and paying for the services, the prices that I was charging, I was grateful for it because they were not judging what they saw. And I knew that I had a greater vision for it. So I always said, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. Even when I was transitioning and moving to different places, this is just the beginning. This isn't the end. And I'm still in that place, even 14 years later, even though I've got a couple of buildings that I operate my business locations out of right now, and I'm no longer sharing space with someone else. Even in those spaces, I'm still saying this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. This is transitional time. It's not the end. And I don't know what's to come in the next 3 to 5 years, but I do believe that everything that I do, it gets greater, even if I have, like I've done in the past couple of years, downsized in terms of having multiple locations, where at one time I had 4 locations and now I have 2. And it's great for me and it's working out. But are all of the places that I get into perfect when I get it? No, it's not. There are things that I have to do, things that I want to do in order to give it the aesthetic and the feel that I would desire for our beauty guests to experience. So I never wait until it's perfect in order to begin. And that is going to serve you well in business if you do not allow that perfectionism to paralyze you, because that's really what it's meant to do. Even for those who try to make things appear as if they are just so perfect and nothing is wrong, you would be surprised what things may look like on the back end. And that's not a judgment, it's just being honest and real about it. So if you are focusing on what you see others doing and what you have the availability to see, thinking, well, if theirs looks like this, I need to wait because I need to make sure that mine can look like that before I begin, then you are sadly mistaken. You can't ever do that. And I've always transitioned, I've always made changes, I've always made upgrades, I've always done the things that I felt were necessary in order for me to just continue to grow and to be better and do better. And all of those things come with time. It just does not happen overnight. And even when you get to a certain point and pinnacle, you don't want to settle. You want to be flexible enough to say, okay, now I'm at this level. Now it's time for me to reach the next level. And it's not something you need to rush to do either. So that is something that I just really wanted to share. It's amazing. Even with this being my story, there have been times where I allowed perfectionism to paralyze me because I didn't feel that what I had was good enough or strong enough or ready for me to be able to put out there, when in actuality, not to compare, but if I were to look at some other things that other people had the bravery and the audacity to put out there, and it really wasn't all that they said it was, and I'm talking about like giving an example of like maybe coaching and things like that, just because they had the confidence enough or the con enough to put themselves out there to let people know what they had to offer and say that they can help you. Hey, that is just one of those things, one of those areas where I have struggled with as well. But not even so much struggle with it, was also sometimes just, is this what I really want to do? So even in those areas, there may have been a little bit of self-doubt, but also just some doubt overall to decide, well, is this what I really, really want to do? Because I have some training classes and I've trained people, I've done all of those different things, but I haven't done it as much as people has either suggested I do or requested that I would do, because I just wasn't really sure if that's where I really wanted to put my focus and concentrate on. So I'm just using that as an example, guys, but in my business journey, nothing has started perfect. Nothing. And even when I get to the point where things are much better, or they may look more aesthetically appealing, or whatever it is, and I decide that, okay, now I'm good, now I want to be even better. So I'm continuously growing and continuously thriving and striving to be better. So you don't ever look at it as, I can't wait until I get there. See the business journey as a journey and not a destination. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. And guys, I am Elizabeth, the Minister of Beauty, sharing the Bible that is business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. So thank you so much for liking the video, subscribing to the channel, and until the next time, I hope you have an amazingly blessed and beautiful day.